and it stopped. Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? It is me, Mike Lepre, King Mike L. This is Legit Paranormal, brought to you by Legit Podcast.com. It is August 13th, 2023. 813-203. Let's do this. 8 minus 3 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. And on the other side, I got 3 times 2 is 6 divided. I screwed that up. But it's got to be somewhere for the math geeks. Joining me, always, buddy, Money. There. What's up, buddy?
Good evening, Mike. How are we doing today? Oh, hey, Sarah.
Doing good, buddy. Doing good. Rocking and rolling.
Not skipping too bad, although I imagine that I am. And I'm drinking some pretty magical beer tonight, Mike. It's double cloud candy. It's made right up there in Waltham, Mass. It's a beautiful double IPA. It's got notes of peaches and mangoes and melons. And it gets me excited thinking about beer because next Friday, I'll be going, if you'd like to join me, Mike, to the Line Cider Brewing Company, where we will discuss the type of beer that we will be brewing coming this fall with the people at Line Cider Brewing.
The legit paranormal brew? Yes.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yes. I would like to come with you. I would like to take the truck ride with you, and me and you will explain things to each other, and then we'll get there and we'll get things done. That's how that'll work. What do you think about that? Let me tell you this, though. I don't think I would ever drink something called
style. We're going to talk about style. We're going to talk about what kind of beer it's going to be.
Wow. You just got caught up
really again fast. Just because my Wi-Fi is from 1988 tonight.
Holy crap. Joining me as always.
Putting things in the beer world if you can stay with the skipping.
Man, it's like watching
IllAuthor.com.
We're watching a foreign movie.
Yeah, he was going, and then he would start, and it would skip again. And now you hurt his feelings so bad, Dad.
Oh no! I didn't mean to hurt his feelings.
Well, you did, though. You did,
Buddy. I'm so sorry.
I'm going to give Buddy a couple of seconds because Buddy's favorite part is he gets to do the introductions.
Oh, and I messed it up for him.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to give him a second, though, because he's, he'll come back.
Take me back off.
Listen, why would I take you back off?
Because I
what
messed
am I,
up.
game show host? I'm not. What is this? What is this, Moment of Truth? Oh, my God. Is there a worse game show ever made than Moment?
I've not watched it yet. I'm going to, though.
So, you know what? I'm going to maul this, but Victoria, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to bring you up, and I'm going to read what Buddy wrote about you. Here we go.
Okay.
This is, Victoria Mundae, author and paranormal radio host. She's been described as spooky Elle Woods rolled up in a bowl of sunshine with a dash of Paranormal Princess thrown in for fun. That right there is so awesome. That's so like pro wrestlerish, isn't it? That's awesome.
Going, oh, thank you. Yeah.
No, I'm being serious. You know what? Like one thing I appreciate is come out strong. Like. Sin, you know what I'm saying? Like, just,
yeah.
No one wants a meek paranormal person. You ever notice that? You don't want a meek one. You want someone that's gonna get. So, all right, let me just finish. I'm sorry. Before I bring it, she's a contributing author to several literary compendiums.
Compendiums.
Oh,
that's my SAT word.
All right, hold on. Let me write that one down then.
Volumes of books.
All right, I got it. No, I know what it means. I just thought it was stuff how it's pronounced. Oh, boy. And her writings have appeared in the paranormal literary journal, The Feminine Macabre, a woman's journal of all things strange and unusual. Wow.
That's
look, I got to be honest, though, as a guy, I don't know if I'd pick that up. That scares the crap out of me.
That enjoyment story was all about the time when my husband died, and didn't know he had died, and he showed up in my apartment for 3 weeks. Then they found his body. Hello, So,
wow,
get that one.
All right, let me finish.
Sorry.
There's also been profiled in the book A Walk in the Shadows and in TV miniseries The Shadow Dimension. And it isn't already paranormal investigations. He wrote a lot of stuff. He can't even read all it. Embracing the woo-woo of life, which is, I don't know, we'll ask in a second. Victoria co-hosted the long-running paranormal podcast, Edge of the Rabbit Hole, and later joined the paranormal panel podcast, Black Lotus Live, with hopes of helping paranormal and esoteric subjects merge into the mainstream narrative. She created the widely popular Victoria Mundae's Paranormal Activity book series for both adults and children. Upon deciding to take her writing career to a higher level, Victoria has teamed up and joined forces with Beyond the Fray Publishing, a publishing house that caters specifically to the paranormal and true crime genres, and is exciting to be writing in both the fiction and non-fiction paranormal genes. I hope I've been pronouncing it correctly. Victoria Mundae. Hello, Victoria.
Thank you for having me. I'll see y'all later.
So let me ask you this: how bad was my intro?
It was wonderful. It was fantastic.
I see. I didn't like it because I was reading Buddy's words.
Oh.
The way he wrote that. Was that?
He actually was. I wrote that, but
no. Yeah. Well, yeah. But you don't know what I mean by that. I don't mean the words themselves, but by the copy that I have of what I'm reading.
Gotcha.
Is junk.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. This is going to be fun. I've been looking forward to it all day. I've been bugging the crap out of Buddy all day. So, okay. First of all, the numerology for today is 1. It's either 1 or 10. Okay, so you're either ending or beginning. I don't know. It's a good start or it's a good end. I don't know.
Wait a minute.
So, and
where did you come up with the 1 and the 10?
I added up the numbers. 8, 13, 20, 23. It adds up to 10 or adds up to 19.
No, they got to. So what I do, here's the thing, Victoria, right? I'm a math geek. Like I'm one of those people that stares at the clock, and if it's like 333, I'm very happy. So what I try to do is I try to make the numbers somehow mathematically add up on the left side of the year, and then the year itself. I'm trying to make numbers. Usually, I can do it right now if I try, but I try to do it on the fly. I don't pay attention to the numbers till I see them. But I'll tell you what, I can't wait for December 31st of this year, because if you just use the 2-digit year, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's going to be such a great new year. Hey, finally bringing us both of our co-hosts. First, let's bring back Buddy in the Commodore 64. Buddy, welcome back. Bringing in Krista. Krista finally made it to a show. Krista, how are you?
Technical difficulties. Sorry, guys. I'm here.
Yeah. So, Krista, this is Sin Schrader Hill, author in the upper right of the Brady Bunch panel. In the middle, the Alice of the group. What a great positioning. It's Buddy, Money, there. And this is our guest, Victoria Mundae. Is the introduction.
Bobby. Just call me Bobby Brady, you know.
I think I'm in like the either the Peter or the Greg spot on the upper left. I can't figure it out yet. I don't care which one, but I'm just saying. All right, so Victoria.
Hi.
What do you got going on nowadays? What's driving you in this?
In the paranormal or in life?
Just in the whole thing, just in the whole paranormal continuation.
Well, I do live in the woo-woo, or I try very hard to live in the woo-woo. And that's just something I call it. It's more of an esoteric, more of an esoteric new age life. Well, you know, where you see there are no accidents, everything has a meaning, and the synchronicities in life. And, you know, once you embrace that, everything just starts to flow. It's kind of a Taoist type viewpoint.
So basically, if I'm getting this correct, a woo-woo would be to just let life happen, but try to be good, right?
Oh, yeah, always trying to be good.
We want to stress that because Buddy may get ideas. We don't know where this is going to go. We don't want this to end up, Hey, Buddy, can you hear me? You're like a reporter on the scene back in the 70s. Buddy, can you tell me how the weather is out there with the loons? No, not a thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Listen, help me out, please, because this is right now some precious Buddy moments.
Sorry.
Do you believe the whole woo-woo idea? Are you open enough in your life where you could live that whole, and I'm using the term because I'm just acting like I know it now, the woo-woo lifestyle?
You're Buddy.
No, I'm asking Sin.
Oh, I live a lot of woo-woo stuff. I mean, it's just there. And that's a really good term for it.
Krista, do you understand what they're saying by woo-woo? Because I'm a guy, I'm not really getting it. Maybe you
I
are.
do. No, I understand. 100%.
Yeah?
I live that way.
Which means what, Krista?
I mean, I'm into the spirituality, I believe in certain things, and yeah, I believe in the same things they do.
Just let it
100%.
flow. All right, let it go.
Yeah.
You guys let it flow. I know Buddy doesn't let it flow. Buddy lives very.
Buddy's not saying much.
Buddy is a big supporter.
There he goes. 3, 2, 1. Buddy. Nope, not even. Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, well, hey, Buddy, we'll call you like Robo Buddy. Now, sorry. Victoria, explain to us actually what the whole woo-woo would mean if you had to give it a definition to somebody.
There's so many people who are afraid of the paranormal, and I find it really ironic that they go to these places to do investigations and they want to see all the things that are involved in the paranormal, and when something happens, they're frightened and they scream and they run out. But I'm not like that. For example, I was staying with a gal pal one time, and we were in a little refurbished 1960 Airstream trailer. You know, we're out in the middle of nowhere. And we had gone to a Renaissance festival, and I had like 7 layers of clothes and garb on. No, not always haunted. It's more when something happens, you go, woo! But anyway, I was taking off the leather, and I was taking off the belts and everything, and I was dressed like a pirate that time. And I was talking to my friend, and I had been over to do something. I still had bloomers on, and something poked me in the butt. And I looked at her, and I said, "Did you just poke me?" And she said, "No." And when I was looking at her, it looked like an invisible finger went under the Afghan that was sitting behind her, and it flipped over on her shoulder. And I just looked at her, and I said, well, that just happened. You know, but anybody else would be running out the door because, you know, Afghan flipped up on her and something poked me. But it's just like embracing that, and it's part of life. You know, the things you can't see, the other dimensions, the other realms, they are part of our lives. And so that's when they happen, you just kind of go, woo.
So, you know what? But I'm realizing that I live a whoa life. Because let me explain this. I get poked. I want to know what just poked me, and you know, maybe I want to poke it back because I don't want to live with that. I don't want to be poked, especially you know, though, if I'm dressed like a pirate, what can I even do? What defense do I have? I whatever, dressed like a pirate. But the Afghan, I'm out.
Had my little knife. I mean, it happens all the time. I was talking to a friend a few weeks ago, and I'm sitting in my office, and back there I have a
what? Voodoo dolls? Buddy? What?
No.
Yeah, because he's looking down. She's just making fun of him.
Oh,
okay.
Carry on, Victoria.
Buddy doesn't like dolls.
Oh, Buddy.
I do have a doll of Mike, though, and I do.
Buddy, I gotta tell you, dude, right?
Little.
Yeah, I know, man. It's great.
Yeah, dolls and I have a love-hate relationship. Certain dolls. Unless it's a Barbie doll.
So you mean Barbara Millicent Roberts? That's Barbie's full name. Wait, let me ask.
That's right.
Krista, is that Barbie's full name?
What's Barbie's full name?
Barbara Millicent.
Yes, that sounds correct.
Sounds correct.
That sounds correct.
All right, feel correct? Am I correct? I'm not going to ask.
It is.
All right, thank you. All right, anyways,
Yeah.
So Victoria, again, even when the Afghan flipped, I would have left. I mean,
There's no place to go. We were actually in the middle. We were in the middle of a wildfire, so we were told to stay there. The flames were flying over. They were dumping stuff on us, and we're like, "Well, what are you going to do?" I mean, I was sitting here the other day talking to a friend, and I have all these pictures behind me, and I was looking at them, you know, out of the corner of my eye. I was texting, and there was a reflection on one of the photos, and all of a sudden the reflection went away, and this was like 3 p.m, and then the reflection came back, and I looked over there, and I have a cat who's real sensitive, and he's always, he'll run off. And so I told her, shadow person just went by, and she's like, oh my God, you need to go throw some powder out. You need to go, set up some recorders. I'm like, why? They're gone. They don't bother me. They walk around here all the time. So,
especially throwing powder.
Yeah, because that's kind of.
Would you want to just throw powder in your house? Have you ever thrown powder in your house? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because Susan, I'd be mopping for weeks. No.
That's like you guys have Ajax, you know, that is Comet, whatever you want to call it, right? Ever notice how it's always in the front and spills out? No matter how far back you put it, it always eventually ends up in the front and it spills out. I don't know if it's ever happened to you guys. It happens to me all the time for some reason. I'm always spilling Comet. Sorry, off track. I digress. Victoria,
that ghost in your house, Mike.
there's no ghost in this house. Trust me.
Oh, might be.
Anyways, Victoria, so you have to be somewhat sensitive there. This has to be something that you discovered. So let's do the beginning of it.
Actually, my mom's my mom's side is from East Texas, and they were very intuitive. They were very they wouldn't call themselves psychics, but I would. You know, they had herbal cures, they did candle magic, but you know, they were good Baptist women for East Texas, so they didn't do any of that kind of stuff. And my dad's side, when I did the genealogy, I found that they were actually descended from Roma gypsies that left. They were in Germany, and they left around 1890, and so they came over here. So when you put them two together. I'm sorry, my Texas.
Put them two together.
That's what Texan. So when you put those two sides together, that's how you get the Paranormal Perfect Storm. And if you remember the movie, nobody survived the perfect storm. So that's me. But anyway, my first paranormal encounter, which I didn't even know it was paranormal until a couple of years ago, was when I was about 2.5. There was my mom and sister were fighting in the room next door, and I was in the center bedroom. And then there was like this light that came through the window, and I looked back at it. And when I looked forward, there was a lady standing in the room, and I'm jumping on the bed. So I'm like, okay, who's this lady? And so she just looked at me, and she didn't move her mouth or anything. And she told me, I guess telepathy, at 2 years old, who knew what telepathy was? She looked kind of over at the room like she wasn't supposed to be here or anything, but if she was using telepathy, who's really going to hear it other than me? But she said, you're not like them. You're one of us. And, I looked at her again, and she said, you're not like them. You're one of us. And then the light came back through the window again. And when I looked back, she was gone. And so I got off the bed and I went and asked my mom, who is that lady? And so my mom starts yelling at me. She goes, there's no lady here. I'm like, okay. And so things like that have always happened. And I've always seen like my family and loved ones before they die. Like my first ghost I saw was my grandfather. He had just passed that afternoon. And they sent me off to bed early. And so I was sitting up in my bed playing with my little animals and stuff. And if you see a red light flying around, that's my cat Disco. I just saw it go off. So there's a UFO. There it is.
A cat Disco.
I have a cat Disco. I have little light balls all throughout the house, and they shoot lasers everywhere. So
nice.
It keeps the cat occupied.
It makes you feel like you're in Mission Impossible sometime too. You can jump around, do flips.
Yeah, we saw what happened last night. I need that Kairos syrup. No, we've got
all right.
little flashing lights.
Here's what I want to know. When you say you've seen things, in what form are we talking? Like how solid to let's use the word like mist. Where are they as far as visual? What you're seeing?
Well, when I saw my grandfather, he was a misty, milky white form, and he sat up. He was laying down. He sat up and he looked over at me and went, hush up, and told me again without talking, I'm okay. Go to sleep. When I saw the lady when I was 2, she was just as plain as anybody. She looked like, it's gonna sound silly, she looked like one of the fairy godmothers from Sleeping Beauty. But I'm 2. What do I know? This is a familiar, not scary figure to me. And I found out last year that that's one of the things that extraterrestrials can do, is they will somehow read your mind and find something that is not frightening to you, and they will basically shape shift into that form to deliver you a message. And I was talking to Andrea Perrin a couple of years ago, and she told me, she goes, yeah, that was an extraterrestrial that came to see you. I'm like, oh, well, okay, that happened. But, a lot of things are with my third eye. A lot of things are out of the corner of my eyes.
Wait. Here's a question I could ask, because I proposed the thing. So what you're saying is that ghosts, not all ghosts, are you saying all ghosts are just aliens?
Oh, no. I do believe that once you cross over, you move into another dimension because, life is more than these 4 dimensions. I think scientists actually proved that there are 11 dimensions currently. And it's just like a watercolor, where sometimes the colors bleed together. And if you put yourself in a high enough vibration, which I do believe you need to be in to get into the other dimensions, you're able to see that. And so I try and, I joked and said, I used to be like Snow White. Every time I'd walk out, there'd be a cat coming up, they're like, oh, look at her, and so they're all coming to live here. But when you stay in a higher vibration, you're able to see more things because you're in a higher frequency. And I think that's how you see what you call ghosts or spirits or entities. That's how you astral travel. That's how you connect with other dimensions. I was supposed to go to a CE5 event last night, but unfortunately, like I was telling you earlier, I face planted in the middle of the floor earlier this week, so I wasn't going anywhere. But it's been rescheduled for later. So I'm excited, and hopefully we can see something then.
Here's where I connect with this completely. The whole idea of vibrations. Like Buddy can attest. I don't know if you can hear me. And Sin, you must know by now that I constantly talk about how life is vibrations, and even like dimensions. Just everything's vibrations, basically. That's my belief. Buddy doesn't usually believe in me. Buddy, if you believe in me, don't say anything.
I don't necessarily think that vibrations have anything to do, but I don't know. I think energy is connected to everything, and that's what I'm saying.
Which comes from vibrations. Krista, what are your thoughts on actual?
No, I totally agree. Everything vibrates at a certain energy. Everything's at a different energy and a different vibration. But yes, we all vibrate at a different frequency.
All right. So can you say you're at frequency like B101, and you go looking at another frequency? Victoria, do they match frequencies? Is that an attraction, or is that double positive and it bounces away?
Well, some of the things I've been told is that I'm a light worker. I've been told I shine very brightly. It's like, well, that could be why a lot of the hauntings stop when I'm around, because I'm at a different level. And I was told that it would be like walking into a kitchen and turning on a kitchen light. When the light's on, there's no darkness. There's nothing around. It's just nothing but light. And then when spirits are crossing or they're moving into another dimension or something is just passing it by, they're often attracted to that light. And so they're like, find it a safe place. And I think that's why I have so much activity here at the house. I have so many shadow cats and just people walking around. My dad passed 2 years ago, and I've seen him like 6 times this year. But he's always on the periphery, just walking around. So,
See that's weird. I lost my mom in 20. Don't even remember now. 21. I don't think it was 21. It was like the day after Christmas, and I've never seen her. But then again, I did make an agreement that I never want to see her physically because it'll freak me out too much, and that's more than I can handle. We've already made that agreement. But then even in the letter my mom left us, it said, I'm going to haunt the shit out of you. This isn't her letter. This is what she wrote.
Aww.
And what she does to me is everybody's named Felicia wherever I go. Like on my birthday, I had a thing where there was like the Giants were involved. I get a text message with her name on it, like 7:00. I got mail that never comes to my house for her. Like it was just this laundry list of crap. And I'm like, all right, I get it, but that's enough. Like I'm cool. I don't want any more. Sin, do you understand what I'm saying when it comes to stuff like that? Like, where do you draw the line on it? Like, how much do you want to know?
Yeah, but see, where you don't want to see, I do. I would love to see my dad again, my grandmother, Wyatt especially. So I would love to see them.
Buddy, would you want to see people from that? Would it scare you? 3, 2, 1. No. Krista, what about people from the past? If you saw them, what would you think?
Oh, I mean, I'd love to see them, but I don't know. If I saw them by my bedside, I might have a different story to tell. It's a little scary when you're in the middle of the night and it's dark and it's a different vibe.
So in other words, basically what you're saying is if you saw somebody sitting on the edge of your bed that it looks completely alive, you might like piss the bed and just never want to think about stuff like that again?
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, would I love to connect with my loved ones? Absolutely, but in the daylight only, not at my bedside.
See, Victoria, I guess even what I'm saying is that just seeing them in a physical form is too much for me. I might take the mist, maybe, but I'd rather be, in my head and stuff like that. That make any
It
sense?
is a little shocking. It's shocking at first, and you always go, and you do a double take, and then by that time they're usually gone. But you know what you saw. I mean,
Right. You don't have time to
Think about
Yeah.
what I'm about to say, and then say it so
Think-
eloquently. That was good, buddy. Sin,
Yes.
you can't mad. He's getting
Yes,
mad.
Mike.
Sin, can you follow that up? What I just said, please. You don't remember
About sitting on the bed and all that kind of stuff. What?
Yeah,
Which-
if you really saw a physical form, that would freak you out. Like I missed.
No, I'm telling you, no,
Oh wow.
not me. If I saw my family, no, that's not going to freak me out. I would love to see that.
Victoria, why are the Freddy cats on the left, and then on the right we have now it's just a battle of four, and on the right we have people that would love to see the physical form of somebody, and it wouldn't freak them out. Like, why is that? Honestly,
a lot of times when I see things or when I'm not thinking, and that sounds weird, but it's like when I'm doing something like I'm washing dishes and my mind's just gone and I'm off. And then I'll look up, and the other house I used to live in, there was this cute little blonde boy, and he looked like he stepped out of a little house on the prairie. And I was doing dishes one day, and I looked up and I went, and he was just, hey. And then he was gone. And then like weeks later, I was cleaning the bathroom, and I looked in the mirror, and I saw him in the mirror, and I turned around. Yeah. So I don't know who he was. I had no connection to him, but he kept showing up and popping up. And I think when energies and entities know that you can see them, they'll come find you, just say, hey. So,
but in full form, I think I'm missing a point here that I'm really trying to make. Like, if it's that Scooby-Doo mist, that's like scary, but it's not gonna terrify me. But if it's a full form, I know it's a person. That would mess with my head, and I think that's why my mom knows, and she just doesn't even bother to show up. I found a mop bean the other day, if that helps, but that's probably as close as I'll get. But all right, let me ask you. So you obviously, like, I'm like a light bulb. You're more like the bug light, the zap light. It's buzzing stronger and harder, right? I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. So is it something that you're born with, or is it more like the Tesla 369 copper water? Because if you notice, great ideas always come for me in the shower, period. If I can take a shower and not have to hear my name for like maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and especially when I take a cold shower, I'll think up a million things. It's like my brain gets a chance to just go like this. So I think water is a conduit. I'm a big proponent of that. What are your thoughts on that, Victoria?
it would make sense because I was doing dishes and I was cleaning up the sink in the bathroom, so I was with water too. But I think a lot of it is, the answer is both, because I always wear this pendant and it's got Hermiker diamonds and moldavite in it. If you know those stones, they're both high energy, and I don't advise driving with them, until you get used to working with them, because you're like speed racer, you're zipping in and out of traffic, next thing you know, you're gonna be pulled over. But
By
What?
stone?
Which ones?
Yeah, wait a minute. We might want to try them. What stone?
I don't. Which ones?
They're called Hermiker diamonds, but you can only get them in Hermiker, New York, and they look kind of like a clear quartz. They're kind of expensive, so you get the little chips, put them in the little bracelet. And then there's another one called moldavite, which I think it was 140,000 years ago. I might be wrong. Was a meteorite that crashed in Czechoslovakia, and it hit so hard, so fast, it just incinerated, and it made all these little green crystals. And that's actually an extraterrestrial crystal. So it has this extreme high vibration, and you can just hold it and your hands just start jittering. So until you learn to work with it, that's why I always tell my friends, they're like, oh, well, I want to be a ghost hunter and I need to have, a team lead. I need to have a historian. I need to have whatever, case manager. I'm like, no, you don't. You need to forget everything you ever learned. Get a piece of moldavite, go out there and see what the heck happens. Your whole world will change because you're going to see things that you've never seen before. You're going to experience things you've never experienced before. And you're going to forget all these preconceived notions that you have that you've learned off TV. Sorry. And you're going to see things for what they really are. It's mind-boggling what it will do.
So Buddy's back. We're gonna give him and his Commodore
Hey,
6
buddy.
modem a chance. Buddy, can you hear us?
I can hear you right now, Mike. Yeah.
All right. How are the loons, buddy?
The loons are lovely tonight, Mike. They're getting ready for
Flying around and landing on
me up north, so it'll be a good and maybe
you'll say something that's actually cohesive and in a sense.
who knows? We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
So, all right. Now, wait a minute. Krista,
Yes.
do you not think from having, and I'm going to assume that you have Italian heritage, just from being in the area that I know, and that I have complete Italian heritage, and they were a certain, like, don't do this because, like, they put the maloc on you. You had to wear, you had to do this. They had to wear the horn at times that protected you, the Italian horn.
No.
Like, you never had that?
No.
Oh, wow. See, yeah.
My dad did, but I didn't.
Yes, you guys. You're the generation that missed it because it was fantastic. The nanas were like,
Yes.
they weren't witches, but they were like on the level of witches. Like an Italian nana was like, I'm sorry, Victoria, they were just like way up here. The wooden spoon in hand.
True.
Wow, right in the head. Oh, the wooden spoons I took to the head, like seriously, daily, and I deserved every single one of them. I'll tell you that very much right now. I know that for a fact. All right. Is there a way to get your energy to change in a positive way? Because the thing about vibrations that is always with Tesla and me has always been that there's that one, I think it's gigahertz, where light and sound actually meet. It becomes like a white light. It's like 265. I want to say I'm close, but it's like, and it's like the perfect. It's the only time that it ever meets up those two things at any time. Like, so I believe in that whole vibration, the whole roll of things. My question is, how do you make it? I don't want to say make it sound like it's just work for you, but how do you make it work for you? What's the best advice to get it in a positive rotation?
I just made a choice one day when I was like 20, because I worked in a pretty crappy job, let's be honest. And people would my supervisor would keep coming in and dumping more work on me. And he'd say, hey, I need you to do blah, blah, blah. And I started saying, absolutely. I didn't mean it, but I started saying it. And then it took maybe a year or so, but then now absolutely just rolls off my tongue. Hey, can you do this for me? Absolutely. And it's little baby steps. It's, what you think about, you bring about. So if you try and be positive, you eventually get there. I mean, there's been a lot of bad stuff going on for me this year, but I could be laying there crying, but then that kind of manifests the negative downturn parts of life. It's not going to do that. I've started learning to do AI art, and that's kind of freaky crazy, but I
got to tell you, basically what I was told, the best advice I was ever given was just be nice to other people. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's all you got to do. Like I was asked, like, well, all you got to do is be nice to other people, because basically if you take your life off you and you focus it on other people, it's more fun. It's less in your head, which you don't want to be. You know what I mean? So right. It's an easier thing to do, right? You focus, and if you're nice to other people, even when they're, not nice back, it feels good in a weird way. It's like a win either way. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to be a jerk, I'm still going to be nice to you, and it's probably going to aggravate you more. You know what I mean? Especially in that.
Yeah. Kill them with kindness. Yeah.
So, all right, buddy, can you hear me? Dude, you're going to be coming in that star after this episode because of your performance. Krista, could you answer that question, please?
Say that again. I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention because you were talking to someone else.
Cindy, do you remember the question?
No, I was watching Bobby and he just.
Victoria, do you remember the question that I asked?
I was watching Bob. Sorry.
Listen, the last thing I remember is that you were being nice to everybody, even if they were mean. You were going to be nice. Yeah. So that's
that was like 10 minutes ago. You've been blocking me out for a good 10 minutes. You're all watching the attraction that is Buddy He's a meme every
You
3
directed
seconds.
us to him, though. You
What?
directed us to him. You said, "Look at Buddy," and we all just looked at Buddy. Probably
you know what?
everybody watching looked at Buddy.
My bad. How about that one? Can I say that? Can it be my bad?
Yes.
Put my hand
Yes.
up. My bad. My bad. All right. Jeez Louise. All right,
Jeez.
so, all right.
See, Sarah
And Dolly
forgot
does.
the
Chris,
question, too.
do you believe you control your own?
Say that again.
Do you believe you control your own vibration level, energy level?
Yes, I do.
How much control do you think you have of it? How much do you think is just
I will say I control most of my vibration. I do think that everything around me controls it too. I have to be very aware of what affects me, what I allow in, what I allow out. I have to.
You're empath.
Yeah. Oh,
Right.
big time. Big time.
The Victoria, is that something that you deal with too?
Oh yeah, constantly. And it helps if you have a lot of animals. I found
Yes.
because animals are very nurturing.
That's so messed up that you say that. Because
Why?
sin, I'll tell you why. And I don't mean to cut off sin, but so I have it extremely bad. My biggest issue is when I'm around people that are not good people, it hangs on me. I'll hold it for days until I can get it away. When I'm around good people, it's like the battery gets going more. So I'm a big believer in that. Sin, I didn't mean to interrupt.
You didn't.
Oh, okay. Well, I was trying to kick it at you. I was trying to give you a chance to speak. If you want to speak, I'll keep talking.
Yeah.
Sin, I have no problem keeping
I was noticing Sarah's comments. I was enjoying those too.
Yeah, I was thinking that same thing.
Did we just experience a time slip?
And the one right before that was she forgot the question too.
See?
She was looking at Buddy. See,
You
There you
spin
go.
Dolly dust. Yep.
You know what? This is not good for my self-esteem. I'm going to tell you that much right now.
but you did it. See what a leader you are. That means you're such a good leader that you directed us to look
Yeah,
at.
and this is like a
Oh.
Monty Python skit. If this was Mel Brooks, if this was like an Eddie Murphy movie, yeah, that'd be a great leader. Lead everybody off a cliff. It's like a bunch of lemmings. Jeez Louise. Victoria, oh God, get us back on track. Because any minute now, Buddy might pop up again, and we'll have to stare at his face. So, Victoria, when did it really get going? I guess in the 20s. How does that affect relationships? Explain that to me. Having that empath like that.
What's a relationship? I don't know.
There you go. Is that something that's like you're just so much energy? Let's just keep it that way.
Okay, here's a funny story.
All right, go ahead.
When you start telling people, I ghost hunt or I do paranormal stuff, they're like, okay, well, thanks. See you later. And so, I eventually learned. My husband died about 12 years ago. So, I decided, I want to start dating again. So I looked online and there was this really nice guy and we started chit-chatting. He was a lawyer. He was involved with human trafficking and trying to stop all that. And he fought the good fight. I'm like, I really like this guy. And so we got to the point in the conversation where he said, well, what do you like to do for fun? And I'm like, no, not doing it. It's like, I enjoy movies. I like pizza with pineapple, He's like, what? And I was like, stay away from that subject, I was like, well, what do you like to do? And he's like, no, I want to know about you. What do you like to do? And so finally I broke down. I said, okay, well, I go to haunted brothels and I talk to dead people. And he's like, what? What do you do? I go to haunted brothels and I talk to dead people. I see him too. And he's like, what? I'm up. But he's back.
Brothel.
5-year penalty
Haunted brothel. You go to haunted brothels. Question:
all the time.
Are
Yes.
they closed for business?
There's probably still some workers
No,
working.
I want to know. She's let her. Hey, Sin.
I'm sorry.
She can answer for herself. That's a
Yes.
quote.
There are not living women there working for a living, but they're still there. If you know what I mean.
So there are
See?
vacant haunted.
Yes, a lot. Yeah. One of the books I'm working on now is called "Romancing the Tombstone," and it's about a woman who inherits a haunted brothel. Does she keep it, or does she go? Does she sell it? Does she keep it? So Anyway, I've had a lot of experiences in the haunted brothels. Anyway,
All right. So wait, let me just, because Chris is brand new. Krista,
Yes.
in your travels, have you ever been to a haunted, vacant brothel?
Never. No.
Are you
Never.
sure? Think
No,
about.
I'm pretty sure.
Think about. You sure?
I'm sure.
All right, Sin. How about
I'm
you?
pretty sure I have.
All right.
oh yeah,
Bird,
That's all
Birdcage
we have
Theater.
them.
Birdcage Theater.
I love the birdcage. I had a lot of experiences there too. But I'm pretty close to West Texas, and that's all we got out here. That's all we got out here. That's all we have out here. Shoot 'em ups and brothels.
We
So-
actually have a few in my county here in Middle Tennessee.
Really? You should.
I've stood outside. I have not investigated the brothels here, Mike. So
So
stood outside them though.
on the left side of this screen, the two of us are going to say that we've seen maybe women walking like Broad Street, stuff like that. But that's about as far as I can think of brothels in this New England area. Krista, do you know of any brothels in the New England area?
I do not.
So you're over too. No, wait. This begs the question, though, Krista. Do you get out of the house?
I do get out of the house quite often.
Just because that, if I didn't ask that, man, then I'm always going to get it wrong. I want to make sure you left the house.
Oh, I leave the house quite often.
So no brothels, no haunted ones.
No,
All right.
no. Fortunately, apparently I'm not doing it right.
Victoria,
Yeah,
on a serious note, how sad is a haunted brothel? Like,
They're not.
What?
They're not. People went there for fun. That energy is still there. There are some sad things that were there. Do you have a G rating on this show or?
No,
PG?
I don't. I
Okay.
have my own stuff.
So one of the ones I like to go to is out in West Texas. And a few months ago, the Ghost Brothers were there. I'm like, I want to go meet the Ghost Brothers. So I went down there and met them, and we did an investigation. And they had their little talkie box. And I don't know, I've been there 6, 8, 10 times. I don't know how many times. But there's always this one voice. It's very deep. It's very low. It's very gravelly. It doesn't use polite language. And it's I believe, the spirit of J.B. Miller, who was a notorious gunslinger. Right? He would kill and then he would go to church. So people called him Deacon because he was a good citizen. So Deacon is always there.
Wow.
And I know Deacon's voice. Deacon's voice comes over all the time. And so I forget which Ghost Brother.
Sin,
Yes.
I don't mean this. Do not mean this to be rude, but doesn't this sound exactly like something me and you have listened to before in this exact same sort of order? It's oddly enough like a pattern. I'm not saying it's the same stuff. It's the same skeleton with different notes. But it's I'm being serious. The whole seeing a grandparent when young, that comes up on this show. So we've been doing the 2.5 years. We're doing about 8 hours a week now. So we've added up. It's like 600 hours of us. That comes up a lot when you're young. You see a grandparent, right? And then like what you just said right there. There's certain. Is it just there's a certain, like I said, skeleton of life, but we kind of just make our own meat to it? You know what I mean? We just fill it our own way. Does that make any sense to you?
Who are
Does
you
it?
asking?
Victoria, I'm asking if that makes any
Okay.
sense.
Oh, yeah. A lot of my friends, their first ghost that they've ever seen is one of their grandparents. I read today, or maybe it was yesterday, I haven't been asleep yet, that someone, I can't remember who it was, said that most people have like a protective bubble around them, and only certain spirits can come in, and a lot of it is our grandparents, people in our immediate family that can come in. That's why we see those, and that's why we don't see George Washington or something, or Cleopatra. It's somebody we know and somebody we loved. They're in our family bubble. I thought, well, that's really nice. Then how do you explain all the others? I don't know.
No, they just like it's just there's a flow to what happens to people that is similar, just somewhat different. Krista, do you understand what I mean by similar but different?
Yeah.
You can lie. That's nice. I thank
You
you.
can lie. You can lie. You can lie. Yes. Yeah.
So listen, continue. I'm just saying that it's like it's not a bad thing. It's a scary thing. I think if we went back and added up, like there's certain ages where certain things happen to a lot of people.
Or maybe it happens to everyone, and certain demographics are told, "Oh, you just made that up."
Yep.
Put that out of your head, and
Oh,
your
yeah.
mind's instantly closed to that. And the rest of us are like, okay, well, go play now. You know, I didn't have parents that said, okay, go play. You know, my dad walked out when I was little, and my mom was an alcoholic. So, you know, I was not around them. But anyway, getting back to the brothel. So,
yeah, that was a great segue. So,
so I forget which ghost brother it was. I mean, it was, you know, the euphoria of the ghost brothers were there. And so they had his little talkie box. And so he was asking, Deacon, why are you here? And this voice came over and it said, the sluts. And it was this real gravelly, groggly, you know, and that's not something that's programmed on an app or something, you know. So that definitely came through. And then I told him, I said, well, that's Deacon. I know his voice. And he goes, okay, Deacon, where are you? And then the voice came back over and he said, the red room. And the red room was the room I was standing right in front of. I'm like, well, that's the red room right there. Because it's all done out in red and velvet and everything. So
Deacon sounds like the lead singer of a heavy metal band so far to this point.
He frightens me a little, I'll be honest. I don't think he was that nice of a person. I've actually encountered him. I've had him run up on my back. I've spun around real quick and I took a picture of him, and what the heck, there was a man standing there, you know.
What's he look like? Can you describe him?
Yeah, he's dark hair, kind of comes over on the side. He's got a goatee. He's notorious for wearing a coat, always rolled up. Spring, summer, winter, fall. He always had a coat on. It was one of the long duster ones, so he could keep his shotgun underneath it. He was very thin. He had really squinty eyes. Yeah, big nose.
Good looking fella, we're saying.
For that time, he probably was, yeah.
I was being sarcastic. That
Oh, okay.
That sounded like a WB cartoon character. That don't sound like somebody Bugs Bunny was afraid of.
Yeah, it's his attitude that scares me. When it came over, when he said the sluts, that just a chill went down my spine, because, you know, I've heard him on other people who have had, you know, like Geo boxes and Frank's boxes and all that kind of stuff. And it's always been, you know, get out, you bitch. I'm going to kill you. You know, the sluts. He called people whores. It's always negative. And so that frightens me, that if that kind of consciousness can remain.
Did you say anything back to it?
No, I just kind of said, okay, I know who that is, you know, because I'd had so many experiences there already. I was already letting other people go up, and they were like, you know, because this was a lot of people's first time to be on an investigation. I was just kind of hanging in the back going, whoo, I know the answer to that one.
So one of the first things I ever did investigation-wise that they dragged me on, that I just try not to admit that I did, was the USS Salem. And there were just some areas of there being below in that ship that are just, the whole vibe changes when you hit the room, right? You just know something bad happened here. And see, me in real life, I just walked where I thought the worst possible spot I could stand was. And what I ended up doing is, if you've ever been there, I was standing right in the chief's quarters, like literally looking right into his mirror. Because I'm like, if you're going to show me something, let's see something. Let's do it. I'm like, let's do this tonight, right? I did an Italian prayer before I got on the boat. I was ready to rock, right? Nothing happened to me. I felt great. I did a prayer before I left, went home. Then I find out from Buddy that he had audio of the chief calling me by name, right?
Oh.
It's in the audio, right? But he doesn't call me by my first name, which scared the bejesus out of me. He's called me by my last name, and that's personal. Like, I was like, damn. Like, how intelligent are these spirits? Like how much do they know? Are they just like symbolic of the person they were?
No, I think they still can have kept their consciousness intact. It's, if you think it's just energy, like there's no such thing as a solid table. It's all about, you know, quantum physics and how things move at a certain molecular level. It would make total sense that the same thing happens with your soul or your essence or your consciousness or whatever you want to call it. It has changed molecular structure. The first law of thermodynamics says you can't change, or you can't destroy energy. It's only changed. So, I mean, that's a proven.
Yep. That's the one that I've always had a hard time getting past. Right? Like, Sin, once energy is created, it cannot be destroyed. That's technically a theory. So, with that said, what do you think about that? Like moving forward, passing on? Is it just the energy, the soul?
That's a loaded question.
Yes, it is.
So, yeah, you got personality, you got the soul itself, you got the essence of the person, you got uh, memories, you got everything, all of that. Some of it can stay, and the rest go on. And it doesn't have to be the ghost of the person that stays. It could be part of their personality that stays, and that's still intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
Krista, any experiences like this?
I mean, I've had some experiences, but I've had people close to me pass on. And I do feel like I've had some very crazy experiences with my mom, my dad. So yeah.
Was it right after they passed? I don't mean
No, it was not. Probably about a year later.
Because right around when they pass, what I've learned, unfortunately, it gets really weird. There's a really weird energy level that hits the room, right? That like when my mom passed, I felt it. Like I knew for a second. Like I went completely unsad in that one moment. There was like I was sad, she passed, and then all of a sudden my mom played a joke on me, right? She always used to say that my mother-in-law buys me cheap clothes. So I'm wearing a pair of pants that my mother-in-law bought me. My mom passes. I go to put a pen in my pocket, and it falls because there's a hole in the pocket. It's a cheap pair of pants, and falls on the floor. And I giggle in my head because I know what my mom thinks of what my mother-in-law buys me for clothes. I grab the pen. I stand up. Everyone's crying. I get sad again. I go to put the damn pen back in my pocket, and it falls to the ground again. And my brothers and family are looking at me like, are you an idiot? It's like, stop throwing pens on the ground. And I'm like, dude, it was just my mom messing with me. Like, for real. Like, goddamn, I felt it then. There's just a weird, like, Victoria, have you ever been in that moment where it's someone passed?
Yeah, we a dear friend of mine passed about a month ago, and her service was last Sunday.
Sorry to hear that.
Oh, thank you. I didn't realize it was online, so and I was thinking I can't go back down to Houston. I'm up by Fort Worth, and I can't make it back in a day. So a friend of mine was telling me about it. She goes, the first 30 minutes when they were trying to get all the technical stuff, they would get set up, and then it would go poof, and then you go, Miss Pat, stop it, And so for 30 minutes, it just kept, and that's the kind of person she would be. She had this funny laugh, and she would do things like that, So it was totally her. The same thing, like when my dad passed, we were in a little country cemetery, very Texas, very red, white, and blue. God bless America, American flags, everything. And for some reason, the cemetery was not mowed, country cemetery. And then off over like 3 or 4 rows was a bagpipe player. And the grass was tall, and it was kind of early morning, and it was misty, and it was actually during a solar eclipse. And so I leaned over to my friend. I said, "Do you see him too? Is he real?" And she said, "Yeah, he's really there." Like, okay, woo, because I wasn't sure if he was real or not.
I now take it back. I take back what I said earlier. I would love to see an actual bagpipe guy just come walking past me playing some great tune. Look,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get haunted in life. Let it be musicians just bopping by with nice tunes. I'll take those hauntings. Can I sign up for those hauntings, Victoria?
Sure. Yeah, all you gotta do is ask. But I'm like, why the hell would a bagpipe player be in the middle of Central Texas? Because
he's awesome.
Yeah, I know. I was like, my dad didn't know anybody, who played bagpipes, but there's a bagpipe player. I was like, is he real?
And they don't. They don't just drive there. Bagpipe players don't usually just. Krista, how would a bagpipe player get to a cemetery? Go ahead. It's not a hard question.
I have no idea.
You don't have an opinion on how one will get there? If you were a bagpipe player, Krista, how would you get to the cemetery?
I mean, I'm going to drive into my car.
You don't own a car. You're a bagpipe player. Let's rewind.
I mean, we don't own a car.
You're a bagpipe player.
I'm going to walk. I'm going to take my 2 feet wherever they'll carry me.
You're going to walk. All right.
Yeah,
All right. That's the final answer. All right. Sin.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this to you now because I'm having fun with it. Why the hell
You're
not?
going to blow in?
You're a bagpipe player. Oh, Sin. You're a bagpipe player. How are you getting to the cemetery?
I just said it. You're going to blow in.
No, I thought you were making fun of me because that's what you.
No.
Yeah.
No.
thought you were doing. Yeah, no. The only way you're gonna get there is you're gonna appear. I hate this. I hate to sound like a douchebag, but I sometimes do. What you saw is so out of place and odd that it's like clown shoes. Like, that's a term I use when something happens that's so stupidly ridiculous that I'm like, oh, that's clown shoes. Because if you've ever seen a clown shoes, way too big, way too. They're ridiculous big. It's stupid
this
big.
old man with this old face, and it was long and hanging just like on Scooby-Doo or something. I'm waiting for the great reveal. But I actually do have a friend who plays bagpipes, and he drives an SUV, and he goes to.
There you go. And she even knows how a bagpipe player would get to a cemetery. Victoria is up by my score 5-0 to 1.
His name is Jason Gunn, Gunn. He goes by Piper Gunn. He does, funerals all up and down the Gulf Coast, so he's great.
So, all right, out of place stuff that you can honestly say you've seen or have had happen to you. Give me another one, because I love out of place stuff.
Okay, I'll be brief. Back when I was pregnant, I had a high risk pregnancy, and I had to go to the doctor every week. So I was probably so long ago, probably like 6-7 months pregnant, and so I was going to go to the doctor and have lunch with my husband, and it was a 30-minute trip from the doctor to where my husband was. So I left, and I left 45 minutes early. So I was going to get there 15 minutes early because I am never late. So I'm driving along. I stop at a red light, and I'm looking around, and there's no cars. This is Houston in the middle of the day on a Wednesday. There's got to be cars. I'm looking around. There's no cars. I'm like, this is really weird. And so I'm looking up at the red light. I'm like, what the hell? There's a UFO. So there's a little spinny UFO up there. And I'm looking at it. And I'm like, oh my God, the one time I see a UFO and there's no one around I can point it out to. And I'm looking around, I'm waiting for a car. There's no one. Light's still red. So I'm watching it and I'm doing this bit, So I wait and the light turns green. I look up, the UFO's there. I go across the intersection. I look up, UFO's gone. I'm like, Dad. So I drive. I get to where my husband is. I'm like, ready to go have lunch? And he goes, where the hell you been? Like, what do you mean? He goes, you're 40 minutes late. Where have you been? I was like, no, I should be 50 minutes early. What do you mean? He goes, no, you're 40 minutes late. I already had to go to lunch. I'm like, what do you mean? So about 2 years ago, a friend of mine told me, he's like, okay, let me get this right. You were pregnant. You stopped at a red light. You saw a UFO. You lost 40 minutes.
All right.
Putting anything together there? I'm like, was I taken? I don't remember anything. But
first off, I'm more shocked at the fact there's no traffic. More shocked than the UFO. That shocks me way more than the UFO. UFO secondary. Listen, no traffic. If you ever find yourself at a red light, a 4 intersection type thing, and there's no traffic in any area, Sin, Krista, Victoria, get out of there. There's going to be some sort of movie shootout or something, and no one wants that. There's never no traffic. Never no traffic. So when you're in the middle of no traffic, I would have already been losing my mind. And then to see the UFO, hey, what are you going to do about that?
It was, even more bizarre is the streets were perfectly clean. And if you've ever been to Houston, there's always oil stains and there's, grass is growing, trash. It was perfect. It was like, a Norman Rockwell picture. It was just perfect.
So here's the only, were you by yourself?
Yes.
Right,
well, I had the baby.
But here's the only, and I always do this because I always have to play the devil's advocate because I'm reading messages and I got to do it. So it's almost like when there's no one else to validate what I know, I believe. First of all, I believe your story. What I'm saying is when there's no one around to validate you, it's so much harder in the paranormal world to present stuff like that or get it through people's thick skulls because they always want that second opinion. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like when a tree falls in the woods and no one's there that's making sound. Who cares about that question? But in that sense, so other than your firm belief in what happened to you, because I believe you, and I can tell we all believe it by just listening to you. Have you had it where you're in a group and other people are there and they've gone, what just happened? Or what was that all about?
Oh, yeah, all the time. And they don't believe me. I was investigating with some friends and we were in this Victorian mansion. It was a murder-suicide there. And I started to go up the back staircase. I'm like, whoop, nope, not going up there. And they're like, why? I'm like, there's a woman in black. She's right up there. So I turned around and went the other way. Nobody believes me. A couple of weeks later, they're going through their evidence, and there's a black shadow on the stairs. Like, I told you that was there. And they're like, I don't remember you saying that. So I've started sketching out things before I go to places. And so I'm trying this. A friend had a farmhouse. It was built like in the 1930s, and they're going to clean it out. So I sketch it, before I get there. I've never been there. I don't know what it looks like. So I draw what I think it looks like. I draw the tree. I know there's a dog buried under this tree. I know there's a barbed wire fence. And so I show it to her, and I was like, does this look familiar? And she's like, oh my God, how do you know about the dog? How do you know about all this? I'm like, I just draw what I saw. And so I did several drawings. And then we were in the house, and I go back to where they called it the smoke room, where they would hang the meats to dry and stuff like that. Again,
As you do.
Yeah, I walk in and say, there's a boy on the roof. And so I drew him. And I just remember he had these big, big dark eyes. And the lady's brother was with us, and he was laughing. And I said, no, that little boy died. There was a sexual predator. That's how he died. And so we go back in the living room, and I find out the next day there actually was a little boy there that died. And there was a sexual predator situation type going on. But what's even weirder is she had her ovulus going, and she's going around with her camera, and she's looking in the bedroom. So she's looking around, she's recording. And as she gets to the mirror, it says door. And if you look in the reflection behind her, you can see a face of a little boy with big black eyes. I'm like, okay, I told you he was there. So now I've got it in my sketchbook. So
all right,
I didn't tell you.
Krista, you go someplace and you end up seeing a little kid with just all black for eyes. Your reaction would be?
I'd be petrified.
What would you run?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, that's a fair, beginner's honest answer. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Sin, what would you do, child? Big eyes.
I don't want to see black eyes.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, like he'd been crying, like he'd been abused. It's not like a black-eyed kid or anything like that, but he.
Okay, that's
Looked
what I
like
thought you meant.
All right, there's a
no,
difference. Yeah, there's a difference because I've seen pictures and things where it's just completely black circles of blackness. That's what I go with black eyes. A black eyes, as far as getting beat up, swollen type of lumped up looking eyes. All right.
Yeah,
that's
what it looked like. He was abused, like his jaw was off, and he had dark eyes because he had been crying and punched up, and the things he probably saw before he died. It was just not a good situation. But I knew when I walked in, you could just feel it. It was like you could feel the energy. I'm like, not going in there because I don't deal with that. No.
So, Sin, can you draw other places, or do you have like? If this is the A team, right? What do you have that you do with the energy that you get? She can draw places she's never been to. That to me is a skill. Like, what do you got? What do you got?
Yeah, the only thing I have is sometimes when I'm talking to somebody, I can see what's around them, but not often. Not often. It just depends. But my friend Mark does remotes like she's talking about for us when we're having a really weird investigation come up that, something's out of place and we can't quite put our finger on it, why this is happening, what is going on. I'll call Mark and he'll do a remote drawing, and he knows nothing about anything and will draw and tell you where the problem is. And every time he has done that, it's been right on.
I find that amazing for a time people can draw.
It is.
The only thing that I can say though is being able to see someone's energy or read them. I just call like grown up Italian. I can just read somebody and figure them out within 2 to 5 minutes of speaking with them. There's motive always behind their heads, and you have to kind of just go with it. And some people have more.
They don't even have to talk. I'm sorry, Mark. I'm sorry.
You're right. You don't even have to talk sometimes. I agree. There's just a immediate like energy vibe type thing. Like, all right, I would talk to this person. It's like, you know what I mean? Like they would read Garfield books like I do. I'll go hang out with that person because that's where I'd be. You know what I mean? That's just kind of the way it is. So, Victoria, the idea of vibrations, idea of energy. I think one of the greatest things that we kind of speak about is keeping positivity, trying to help other people when they're not so positive. It's just the best thing you could do, literally, with your day, with your time, is that just you can't give up too much because then you drain and you just go, right? But you have to be able to help the people that need to be helped, or if you can't help them. In my opinion, that's just kind of how I live things. So, would it be fair to say constant positive thoughts will lead to better health, to better life in general?
I would hope so. Yeah, I'm trying to improve my health, and yeah, I have my bad days, I have my grumbly days, but then I have to think, like a friend of mine was grumbling. She and her husband are on different schedules. She goes, I don't even eat with my husband anymore. And I was thinking, well, you have dinner, don't you? I mean, there's something good in every situation, or you have to really dig for it, just find that little bit of good if you can. And then it will start growing.
Sin, what about you? What do you do?
What I do? What?
Keep up your positivity, Sin. Keep up your positivity. You're going on the buddy list. By the way, Tuesday, HR 11:30. Don't park in the front, okay? Just so you know, HR 11:30 Tuesday. Again, don't park in the front.
I got it.
All right.
Yeah.
You ready to go?
Music. Play music. That's my go-to.
Yep. Change the energy of what you're thinking and where you are. Yeah.
Absolutely.
God damn you. Krista, what do you do?
What do? I don't live in the negative. I live in the positive.
So you block out the negative?
I do. I try every day.
All right. So is that a good way to do it with the negative?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I've always learned that if you ignore negative.
I don't ignore it. I just don't live in it. I don't swim in it every day. I try to.
So in other words, it comes by, you grab it and just let it go.
I let it go. I don't need it.
It's like curling.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know the Canadians. Never mind. You know what I mean?
I try and be on the more positive side of everything because I know there's negative everywhere around us. If I don't need to swim in it every day, I'm not going to.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it because I'd hate to swim in negativity. But I do believe that negativity does breed negativity. Would you agree to that? Someone comes home in a bad mood. You're in a good mood all day. They come in the house and within 5-10 minutes, you're in a bad mood too, and you can't figure out why.
Right.
10?
Yeah. Or driving. Somebody in the fast lane going 45. Get out of the way. Move.
Yeah.
That'll get you bad.
Get out the way.
What if they're keeping you slowed back and then you miss a huge wreck?
Yeah.
See.
Could be.
All right. I want to quick. This is one I hate the most. When I decide to let someone go, man, they're not going. And I'm going, go ahead. And they're not going. And now I'm like this. And they're still not going. And I'm in my car screaming like, go. What are you like, stupid? Go. And they finally take the left. And you're like, that was like 4 or 5 seconds of my life that I lost. I lost. They didn't understand the international signal.
No.
Go ahead. What do you do in that situation, Victoria? Am I okay with yelling at them and cursing? I get the negative out?
No.
No.
Because what if they had tinted windows and they couldn't see you? Or what if they weren't looking your direction? Or what if, they needed to stop something and they couldn't go save it? So,
then that's their fault. Because it's my time that I'm running on, for the record.
Yeah,
I don't run on their time. I've never been on their time. It's their fault either way. Whatever excuse they come up with for why they wouldn't take the left after 3 or 4 hand signals is on them, not me. Not me. I'm like a blackjack dealer. Look, I'm out.
Just go.
I did get on to Greg a couple of times because I'm like, you know what? You never know when somebody is going to pull a gun now. So just calm your ass down and let's just be in the moment and we'll just turn up the radio and that guy's going to go. And because, people are crazy now.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. All right. So to wrap this up really quickly, Victoria, what do you going on now? What do you have that's available for people to view, purchase?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I have a lot.
Go
I
ahead.
have 10 books out, I think. You can find most of them on Amazon. Just look up, Victoria Mundae's Paranormal Activities, and they're things like this. They're activity books, but they're not your normal activity books. They have like word puzzles, and then they have like things you can color. And this one is for my witchy friends. It's the 6th book, but it's got all sorts of things in there. And I just published a book in April. It's called My Night in the Most Haunted Hotel in Texas, where I accidentally stayed in the most haunted hotel in Texas. Whoopsie. But it was all in the woo-woo. So there were encounters with dolls there. And that's on Amazon. You can always go to my Facebook page, Victoria Mundae's Paranormal Activities, or just go to my my website and just my name.
Victoria, so 2.5 years, right, of speaking with people. And since you have some history, so maybe you can back me up. Krista, this is your first time, so maybe you'll understand what I'm saying. Try to keep up. I don't know if you can.
Try and keep up.
Have another sip of wine.
I mean, it's working.
So Victoria bounces. Like, her stories are so
all over the place.
Yes. Sin, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, we're so like
very
such a hard left turn, and then it's straight again, such a turn, and you're like, what? I mean, I'm not making fun of you. I'm just telling you that your stories get like
powerful punches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all over.
You should see me drive.
Holy Christ. All right.
I have a little sports car. So
check out your name on Amazon.com, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a website?
It is. There's VictoriaMundae.com. It has some clips from Edge of the Rabbit Hole with some investigations I've done. They're little music videos. It tells a little bit more about me, but it redirects to all the books and everything. I'm working on, like I said, the my first fiction, Romancing the Tombstone. My other book is a nonfiction. I am looking for a job, so if anybody wants to hire me. I don't know. I'll do anything. We have Into the Rabbit Hole once a month. It used to be every week, but now we've pulled it back to once a month. And so our next guest is going to be on the Akashic Records. So I'm really excited because when I did...
that was a question that actually came up. I really wanted to have time to get to it because Sarah mentioned that, and we didn't get a chance to go into the Akashic Records. So when are you going to go into that?
That is the last Wednesday of the month. I don't know the date. I think it's the 29th or something at 7:00 Texas time, because that's Central. Y'all can just figure it up from there. But when I had my Akashic Records done, I couldn't find out. I was trying to find out why something kept happening over and over and over in my life. And when I did mine, I found out that I had at least 14.
You're talking about a thing called an Akasha record, as if we know what it is. Like, as if I ever went to Stop and Shop and I picked up an Akasha record. You got to let me know what it is. I can't follow the story if I don't even know what we're talking about. Like,
I live in a woo-woo.
I speak for the dumb, and I spell that with 2 M's.
No.
It's doing, understanding much more. The dumb. You got to tell me what the word is if you're going to use it in a story.
Deep underground military base. Dumb. Okay. The Akashic Record. No, that's what they're called. They're all out in like Nevada.
Well, I speak for the dumb. I think we're a different organization. I would think.
I had this dream one night. My mom has died like in the 90s, so she's been gone a very long time. But I was wrestling with, why is this happening to me? And I had a dream. This is going to sound weird. My mom was dressed like she worked at Target, and she was standing in the cart corral, and she just went like that, and she pointed over to a file cabinet, and I was like, what the hell does that mean? So when I told my friend, I'm like, my mom is pointing at a file cabinet, and she was, you need to have your Akashic Records done. And what that is, it is basically the book of your life, all of your lives.
Holy crap.
And so we went back. Mm-hmm, yeah.
No, I don't want it. I don't want it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want it. A book of all my lives? Don't need it. I don't want to read that book. I'm not interested in that book. Like,
Why?
Why would I want to read it?
Why wouldn't you?
Because from life to life.
Not even the introduction.
No, there's been a recurring theme that has gone through at least 14 of my lives. And, it was like, why does this keep happening? And when we went through that, she said, this is where it first started, and it didn't get resolved. And so I went to the next one, went to the next one, went to the next one, went to the next one. Finally, I realized what it was, and it was me trying to. There's always been alcoholics in my life. It's, why? Why are there so many alcoholics in my life? I realized that in my very first life, something like that happened, and I tried to change that person. That's my life lesson: is you can't change people. You have to love them unconditionally as they are, good, bad, or ugly. You gotta love them that way. That's the way they are. And once I started doing that, it was just like a whole new world. Blah, things changed. I want to say they got better, but they did get a little bit better. But now when I am faced with these frustrations of like, oh, why are they doing that? I'm like, nope. I'm gonna step back. I love you for who you are, the way you are. That's just it.
So basically, the surfer dudes have got it correct.
Yes.
The way they live their surfer life. Sin, what do you got to say to wrap it up?
Victoria, so nice to meet you. So glad you came on
too.
here. You were so interesting. Want to keep in touch, please.
Please, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As I am still collecting stories. So got a dark book coming out this fall called Realm of Shadows. I'm looking for scary things that have happened. And then I'm also collecting the Signs from Beyond sequel stories that can be pets, your family, anybody coming back, leaving signs that you see, visions that you've had, dreams, deathbed conversations, anything like that. Please send them to me, SinSchraderHillAuthor@gmail.com. You can find me at elkvalleyparanormal.com and on Facebook, Sin Schrader Hill Author.
Yeah, it's the longest nickname anyone's ever been given. You're like Apollo Creed, for crap's sake. You're like Muhammad Ali. It's Sin Schrader Hill Author. That's a lot. A lot, dude. You should just chop it up.
I told you why I cannot. You know the story.
I know it, but I still shorten it up. Krista, it's your first time on a show. How'd you make out so far?
I love it. Okay. I think everybody's great. It was phenomenal.
What do you got going on for business to promote?
Me to promote?
Yeah.
I'm not ready to promote yet.
No, and you have no business. Like you don't do anything all day long to promote.
My hairstylist. My hairstylist / hypnotherapist.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh.
Are you looking for clients or you're not looking for clients? As the people that watch.
Yeah.
A client.
You're washing the hair. Yeah.
I'm new to hypnotherapy, so I'm not really truly advertising that yet.
I know. We got to talk to David Barr, Dreamy David Barr, on the case. That's the guy to talk to.
We do. Absolutely.
But, okay. Are you looking for clients in your day job?
I mean, absolutely. Always. Yes.
Would you like to tell people how they could reach you? That might help.
Drafor Salon, Smithfield, Rhode Island. Right behind the A&W in Smithfield. Thank you.
The name again?
Drafor.
Is she saying therefore?
Drafor. DRIHFOR.
What is going on with this show that you guys are all speaking? Seriously, I'm thinking, is this Latin? Am I in Latin class? Listen. My first years, I was a transferring sophomore URI. I was in Spanish 2. Now, I somehow got through Spanish 1, Spanish 2 in high school. Somehow got through Spanish 1 in college. Here I am signing up for Spanish 2 at URI. I walk in, no one speaks English. You're not allowed to speak English in the classroom. I don't know what anyone's talking about. I'm taking tests. They're telling me stuff. Not a clue how I ended up in that class. Let's not go there. I digress.
Did you see what Sarah just sent?
No, what did she say?
Welcome to the world of...
Oh, well, there it is.
I like Sarah.
Fine, feminine. Sarah's awesome.
Cute.
Sarah's a real good friend.
We'll keep her.
Yes. So August 20. Oh, Sin, help me out. Is it 27th, 28th, 29th? No, 25th.
25th.
Yeah, 25th, 26th, 27th, Block Island. We have Chris DeCesare, the ghost boy of Genosa. Chris has one of the most phenomenal stories I've ever listened to. It's really, really good. We have a couple parties planned for the weekend. It's going to be a good time. Go to blockislandghosttours.com, blockislandghosttours.com. I'm going to do the wrap up. Krista, do you want me to use the whole name you have listed below in the wrap up?
Yes, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, no, thank you for adding so many more words. Would you before the Gotham show? Is this like a sabotage? So, for Victoria Mundae, for Krista Fitzgerald Semino, for Sin Schrader Hill, authored is me, Mike Leopard King, Mike Elders was legit. Paranormal brought to you by Legit, podcast.com. We have 2 shows tomorrow. It's Compass of Curiosity.